Greetings, comrades. So I got this rude and ignorant comment on a YouTube video the other day with someone that was suggesting that because communists want to socialize private property, that as a woman, I should be against that because my body would also become public property, which is a fundamental misunderstanding of what private property and personal property are. But I just wanted to drop a little video to explain that to you. So right now we live under capitalism, and all of our means of production, everything we use to work, to make whatever it is we make at work, whether that is a service or a product, that is considered private property. Your boss, the company, owns your means of production. So if you work at a coffee shop, that is the coffee grounds themselves, it is the machines, it is the building, it is the name on the building, right? Especially if it's one of those big chains, right? That is very important. That is private property. If you work at an office, it could be your desk, again, the building, the software that you use, and the product that you create is all owned by the boss. Your personal property are the things that you own, right? This is my house. This is a bookshelf that I own. This is my shirt. That is personal property. The communists are not coming for your toothbrush. They are coming for the assets of the company, and we want it to be owned by all of the workers in that company. So your means of production, everything that you use to work, when you think of factory settings, which is what Marx was writing about, it's a lot more tangible and a lot easier to think about when I'm making chairs. It is the wood that I use. It is the machines. It is the hammer. It is these nails. Those are the things owned by your boss. That is the means of production. They are privately owned by your boss. And nowadays, most Americans don't work in factories. And so those things get a little jumbled, and it's sometimes harder for us to conceptualize. But literally everything you use at work that is owned by your boss, that is private property. That is what communists want to be owned by all of the workers, by the working class. And that can look like in the early stages, worker co-ops, community owned factories, coffee shops, things like that, and bigger things that may be nationalized, things like resources, waterways, mines, things like that, that might be nationalized, right?